Chapter 2. Orm lay in bed frozen, wide awake beneath the blanket, barely breathing. The room was dark, quiet, and full of tension, one kind of tension that made her toes curl. She heard the soft rustle of sheets beside her. Ling shifted slightly, her breathing calm but alert. Orm could feel her presence like a heat wave against her bare arm. Neither of them had spoken since the lights went out. Neither of them had touched. Until now. A slow movement. Ling's hand brushed against her thigh beneath the covers. Orm tensed. Her breath hitched. Then, softly, just above a whisper, Ling asked, "Are you sure?" That voice, confident but gentle, warm with just a touch of danger. It felt like being asked to jump off a cliff and knowing you'd be caught. "Yes," Orm breathed. That was all it took. The space between them vanished. Ling rolled toward her, her hand sliding under Orm's loose sleep shirt. Fingers met bare skin, soft and unhurried. She traced slow circles on her hip, then slipped upward until her palm was cupping a breast. Orm arched into her without thinking. "You're trembling," Ling whispered. "I'm not," Orm lied, teeth catching her bottom lip. Ling's mouth found hers, silencing her with a kiss so devastatingly gentle it made her eyes sting. It was a kiss that said, "I'm not going to rush you. I'm going to worship you." Orm had never been kissed like that. Their mouths moved together, lazy at first, then hungrier. Orm felt the slick heat build between her legs, her entire body hyper-aware of every brush of Ling's fingers, the press of her thigh, the heat of her breath. Ling broke the kiss only to tug Orm's shirt up over her head, discarding it onto the floor. Her lips trailed down Orm's neck, her collarbone, pausing to flick her tongue across a nipple until Orm gasped and clutched at her shoulders. "You're beautiful," Ling murmured, as if the words had weight. Orm didn't speak. She couldn't. Ling's kisses moved lower. Her mouth was at Orm's navel now, her hands spreading Orm's thighs apart. Orm hesitated only a second before letting them fall open, revealing everything. Her heart pounded in her chest like a war drum. Then came Ling's mouth, hot, slow, relentless. Orm cried out. Her thighs jerked as Ling licked her, dragging her tongue in long, deliberate strokes through her folds. Every flick made Orm tremble, her hips pushing up, seeking more. Ling held her still, pinning her down with strong hands, her tongue teasing, circling, then zeroing in on the little bundle of nerves that had Orm writhing. "Oh my God, Ling!" Ling hummed against her, sending vibrations that made Orm moan louder. Then she added a finger, just one, gentle but firm, pressing inside until Orm clenched. It stretched, it burned, but it also filled a place she hadn't known was empty. Another finger joined the first. Orm's breath hitched. "Ling." "Shh," Ling whispered, curling her fingers just right. Orm shattered. Her orgasm hit like lightning, fast and overwhelming. She bit her own wrist to muffle the scream, but it wasn't over. Ling moved up, wiping her mouth, then straddled her. Orm opened dazed eyes just in time to see her reach down, guide her slick center to rub against hers. Then Ling began to grind. It was slow at first, skin on skin, raw and burning, then faster, harder. The sound of their wet bodies slapping together filled the room. Orm could only hold on, clutching Ling's hips as the pressure built again. "I'm gonna," Orm whimpered. "Come for me," Ling growled. They climaxed together. Ling collapsed on top of her, both of them shaking, sweaty and breathless. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Ling kissed her cheek and whispered, "You're mine now." Orm didn't deny it, because somewhere between that first kiss and the second orgasm, she had already given herself away. The sunlight spilled into the room through the tall windows, illuminating the tangled sheets and discarded clothes that told the story of last night. Orm stirred slowly, a dull ache throbbing deep between her thighs, a sharp, sweet reminder. She blinked against the brightness, stretching before flinching with a hiss. Every movement was a whisper of what Ling had done to her, soft, relentless kisses, fingers curling inside her, the hot press of their bodies as Ling rocked against her until they both lost control. Orm turned her head. Ling lay on her side, facing her, eyes still closed, one arm tucked under the pillow. Her long lashes fluttered faintly. She looked peaceful. Orm could hardly believe this was the same girl who had taken her apart with such controlled hunger just hours ago. Her best friend. Her fake girlfriend. Her something. Orm slipped out of bed quietly, careful not to wake her. She grabbed the silk robe that had fallen by the nightstand, wrapped it around her body, and padded into the hallway. The moment she left her room, the house greeted her with the smell of strong coffee, toast, and the distant sound of chattering voices from the morning crowd in the sitting room. She tiptoed toward the kitchen, but paused as she heard her name. "Oh, she's awake," Aunt Ern's voice chirped from around the corner. "And walking funny," came another voice, probably Aunt Fawn. Orm froze. "I'm telling you," Ern whispered, "there were sounds last night. Not TV, not even from her phone. Real sounds, like moaning. Oh, God," Orm muttered, shrinking against the wall. "She sounded like she was enjoying herself," May added. "And Ling? Mister. The kind of girl who knows what she's doing, if you know what I mean." "Definitely a giver," Ern agreed, giggling like a teenager. Orm's entire face went red. Her ears felt like they might catch fire. "I bet it was her first time," May said dramatically. "She's always been so pristine." Orm's jaw dropped. "She had to learn sometime," Ern cackled. Orm backed away slowly, already horrified, when her brother Jin popped out of the kitchen holding a banana and smirking like the devil himself. "Well, well," he said. "Good morning, your royal loudness." "Shut up," Orm hissed. "Need some painkillers? Or an ice pack?" She shoved him with both hands, face burning. "Shut up." He only laughed and peeled the banana with exaggerated innocence. "You think you're funny? Oh, I know I'm funny." "And I know the walls are thin." Orm turned and stormed away, robe flapping dramatically behind her. Behind her, she could still hear the aunts giggling, and somewhere inside a new kind of panic bloomed, because this wasn't just pretend anymore, and last night, for a few breathless hours, she hadn't felt like she was acting at all. She ducked into the hallway bathroom, heart still racing, and splashed cold water on her face. What had she done? It wasn't that she regretted it, not really. Ling had been careful. Incredible, actually. But the way everyone was talking made her want to curl up into a ball and vanish. She met her own eyes in the mirror. "I had sex," she whispered aloud, blinking at herself. Her reflection didn't look that different. A little wild in the hair, a little flushed, but the same girl. The same Orm. Right? Wrong. Something had shifted. She felt it in her chest, in her bones. Ling hadn't treated it like some favor for a friend. She'd kissed her like she meant it, touched her like she mattered, and Orm had responded. She didn't fake those moans. She didn't fake the way her body chased Ling's fingers, Ling's mouth, Ling's hips. She let herself lean forward, bracing her arms on the sink, trying to breathe. A knock on the door startled her. "Orm?" came a soft voice. "It's me. Ling." Orm opened the door, and there she was, hair brushed now, a hoodie pulled over her head, looking sleepy and concerned. "You okay?" Ling asked. "Everyone heard us." Ling shrugged. "So?" "They're laughing. They're jealous. You're not helping." Ling tilted her head, then leaned down to murmur in her ear. "You didn't seem so worried about being overheard when you were begging me last night." Orm gasped and smacked her arm. "Ling?" She laughed. "I'm kidding." "Sort of, ugh," Orm groaned, burying her face in her hands. Ling tugged her hands gently away. "Hey, I know this is new. I won't push, okay?" Orm nodded, eyes meeting hers, but neither of them said what they were really thinking, that it hadn't felt fake at all. The afternoon sun beat down on the backyard basketball court where Orm stood stiffly in borrowed sneakers, squinting up at the hoop like it was some ancient torture device. "Why are we doing this again?" she muttered, tugging her oversized t-shirt down for the 10th time. Family bonding, Jin said, spinning the ball on his finger with way too much flair. Come on, baby sis. It'll be fun. Nothing involving sweat and competition is fun. I heard that, Ling said, appearing beside her. She looked maddeningly calm in a sports bra and joggers, her hair tied up in a ponytail that swayed as she walked. Orm's mouth went dry. You look prepared. Ling smirked. I don't do anything halfway. They split into teams, Orm and Jin on one side, Ling and a few cousins on the other. Orm had barely played a game of basketball in her life. Her idea of cardio was lifting a wine glass. But once the game began, she was too busy trying to survive to complain. Ling was a menace. She dribbled like a pro, her movements sharp and confident, weaving through bodies like they were cones. Every shot she took swished through the net with maddening precision. Orm, meanwhile, couldn't dribble to save her life. Pass it, Jin shouted. I am, Orm yelled back, throwing the ball randomly in Ling's direction. Ling caught it effortlessly, pivoted, and made a 3-point shot from near the sideline. Show off, Orm muttered, impressed despite herself. You're doing great, Ling called to her with mock enthusiasm. I'm going to throw this ball at your face. Better aim first. The cousins laughed, and Orm flushed but grinned. She hated how easily Ling could fluster her. Even more, she hated how much she liked it. Fawn leaned in close to Ling, practically hanging off her shoulder, laughing at something Ling said. It didn't matter what. Fawn could find a weather report funny if it meant batting her lashes and brushing someone's arm. Orm felt her spine stiffen. She took another sip of lemonade and grimaced. Too sweet. She turned toward the appetizer table, hoping to distract herself with cheese. But even from across the patio, she could still hear that obnoxious laugh. She's laying it on thick, huh? Jin sidled up beside her with a skewer of shrimp. She's just being friendly, Orm said stiffly. Oh, totally, Jin said, chewing. Just friendly. Like when she asked me if Ling was single earlier. What? Jin smirked. Kidding. Orm swatted his arm. Okay, but seriously, you gonna do something about it? He asked. It's a fake relationship, Orm said through gritted teeth. Sure, but does Fawn know that? Orm ignored him and marched over toward the grill. Hi, she said brightly, slipping her arm around Ling's waist. There you are. Ling looked over, one brow arching. Orm. Introduce me to your friend, Fawn said, pouting slightly. This is my girlfriend, Ling said flatly, eyes never leaving Orm. Nice to meet you, Orm said with a smile that was mostly teeth. Fawn blinked. Oh, wow. That's sweet, isn't it? Ling added, then excused them both and tugged Orm gently away by the hand. They ended up near the flower beds, the party fading into background noise. You okay? Ling asked. Orm rolled her eyes. Fine. You didn't look fine. I'm not jealous, Orm said quickly. Ling's face didn't change, but something cooled in her eyes. Didn't say you were. I just didn't like the way she touched you. Ling nodded slowly. Because? Because, Orm floundered, it's disrespectful. To the lie, that's what you're worried about? The lie? Orm crossed her arms. Why are you mad? I'm not mad, Ling said, voice flat. You are. You always get like this when your feelings are hurt. Ling looked away. Never mind. I forgot it's all pretend. Before Orm could answer, Ling walked off into the house without another word. And just like that, the warmth of the evening vanished. Orm stood frozen near the flower beds, the weight of Ling's silence settling over her like a wet blanket. She had never seen Ling walk away from her like that. Not like this. Not with that quiet finality. Was it that bad? She told herself she didn't mean it to sound cold. She just didn't want to admit it. How her chest tightened seeing someone else lean on Ling. How it felt like someone was taking something that didn't belong to them. She hated this, being confused, wanting things she wasn't supposed to want. She wandered to the edge of the garden, watching the shadows of her family dance between the lights. Her lemonade had gone warm in her hand. The fake part was supposed to protect her, let her enjoy being close to Ling without risking anything real. But it hadn't worked. Not since last night. Maybe not since long before that. Her fingers still tingled from where Ling had held her during the game. Her lips still remembered how Ling tasted, and now Ling thought she didn't care. Orm sighed and looked back toward the house. Ling was gone. Not physically, not yet. But Orm felt something slip away anyway. The stables sat at the far end of the property, quiet and sun-drenched, smelling of hay and leather and warm earth. Orm trudged there with purpose, head pounding with things she didn't want to admit. She needed an escape. Her heart was heavy, her face hot with embarrassment, and riding always helped clear her head. She saddled her favorite mare, a chestnut named Dara, and climbed up without waiting for help. The familiar rhythm of the horse beneath her gave her a small measure of calm, though her thoughts were anything but. Ling was mad, not fake mad, not teasing, really, truly hurt. And Orm had no idea how to fix it. She didn't understand why her words had come out so sharp. She had meant to sound logical, even casual. Instead, she sounded like she didn't care, and that couldn't be further from the truth. She loved that Ling got jealous. She loved it even more when Ling got possessive. But she had panicked when Ling asked if she was jealous, because she was, and that meant something she wasn't ready to face. Orm nudged Dara toward the back pasture, letting her trot along the dirt trail that looped behind the estate. The trees arched overhead, their leaves rustling softly, the breeze ruffling her hair. The wind cooled her skin, but not the ache in her chest. She pressed her heels and urged Dara into a gallop, faster, free, away from everything. And that's when it happened. The sudden snap of a branch. Dara reared in panic. Orm yelped and tried to hold on, but she was too late. Her hands slipped from the reins, her foot tangled in the stirrup, and the next thing she knew, the world was sideways, then black. She woke to the sound of someone shouting her name. Orm! Ling. Orm blinked, dazed, vision blurry as Ling dropped to her knees beside her. "Oh my God," Ling whispered, brushing hair from her face. "Orm, baby, what the hell were you thinking?" Orm groaned. Horse, tree, bad combo. Ling laughed shakily, though her eyes were wet. "You idiot! I'm fine. You are not fine. You're bleeding." Ling pointed to the scrape on Orm's arm and the mud on her leg. "You fell off a galloping horse. Are you trying to die before we even fake break up?" Orm winced as Ling helped her sit up. "You came." "Of course I came," Ling snapped. "You stormed off. Jin saw you head to the stables. You think I wouldn't follow you?" Orm looked away. "I thought you were done with me." Ling cupped her cheek. "I'm mad. I'm hurt. But I'm not done with you." Their eyes met. Orm's voice cracked. "I didn't mean what I said." Ling pulled her into a careful hug. "I know." And in that moment, with the fading sun casting gold on their tangled limbs in the dirt, Orm realized she was more than just sore from the fall. She was falling in a different way now. Orm leaned her weight against Ling's chest, her heart finally beginning to settle. The warmth of Ling's arms around her grounded her more than anything else could. "I didn't think you'd come," Orm murmured again, her voice smaller this time. Ling pulled back just enough to look her in the eye. "I heard you fell." My heart nearly stopped. Orm looked away. "I was stupid. You were hurting. I didn't mean to push you away." Ling reached for her hand and squeezed. "You think I don't know what it feels like to get scared?" Orm's throat tightened. "Scared of what?" "Of liking you too much," Ling said, "of it not being fake anymore." That silenced her. The world quieted around them. Just the chirp of crickets in the tall grass, the scent of horses and dust, and the sound of two people tiptoeing around a truth too big to name. "I guess we both suck at pretending," Orm said with a dry laugh. Ling smiled faintly. "Maybe that's a good thing." They sat like that for a few more minutes before Ling helped her stand. Orm limped slightly, her knee scraped and stiff. "We'll go slow," Ling said gently. "No more running away, okay?" Orm nodded, and just like that they began walking back toward the house, slow, silent, and no longer pretending quite so well.